walls and everyone kind of looks at each other. I mean, I try to be this way, but growing up, I understand, right? You go to the callbacks, or you go to the audition, you go to the callbacks, you're in the producer session, and you're looking at everybody in the room, and you're all up against each other, and some reason, the competition is like, can make some people kind of like me, you know? The reality is like, you're gonna get the job or not get the job, regardless of whoever else is there. It's like, if it's hard to get that through your head, you just feel like it's sports, like I win, you lose, and it's not really like that. Somehow with voiceover, the community is so much more like open, because we understand for some reason it's less personal. Like when you're acting on screen, a lot of on-screen actors, you know, if you don't get the job, you feel like it's a personal diss to you, like you just didn't like me. As opposed to like when you're doing voiceovers and you're doing something, you know, I'm playing, you know, I may be like auditioning to play a bear or a dolphin, right? And if they're like, well, we didn't hire you, you're like, all right. I wasn't like a bear. I wasn't the kind of bear you're looking for. But I mean, it's the same thing with on-screen acting. It's just because it's not just your voice, it's your full body and everything like that. A lot of people take it more personal, like they don't like me. And it's not like they don't like you, it's just, it may not have worked for that round of things they were casting. But as far as stressful or fun, I mean, it's amazing, right? Because you do get to be, this is how it works when you audition for something. They'll give you a picture of the character. Sometimes it's something you know, it could be a classic character, it could be Superman or Batman or somebody like that, and that's cool. Which is weird too, because you're like, you know, I think I auditioned for Batman one time. I was like, this is Dante Basco. I'm gonna do Batman. That's right. I'm gonna do fucking Batman. So check it out. You know, because someone's listening to this somewhere at WB, and you go, this guy might sound, I don't know. You know, you just start making stuff up, like each reasonings why you would sound the way that you're gonna sound. 9 out of 10 times, my characters sound like me, right? Or you get, I don't know, not really, you know? Like a lot of times when I do these panels, I kind of think of it as just like hanging out with folks and just talking, like we could, you know. So I don't know what any questions, I mean, I like to ask people questions when we're hanging out, so I'm usually more of, if we're just hanging out at like the bar or something later on, which happens at a lot of cons, I'd probably ask, you know, you guys more questions than you ask me, just because I think one of the things that may make me a good actor or a good artist and continues to keep me being artistic and creative is I'm very inquisitive, you know? I'm insatiably curious. I'm always curious about like you, or like what's your fandoms, or like what do you like about that fandom, you know, or you know, why, you know, it's very interesting because all that stuff kind of seeps into my head, and then some way, somehow will come out in a poem or a scene or something else we create later on, or I'll get turned on to something new, like, you know, like the Homestucks in the house. What's up? Questions? Yes. You're just saying hi? We just shout to all the Homestucks. Question? Yes.
Okay. Is there any update with have you seen the last Airbender movie?
I still haven't seen that thing.
Don't watch it.
Do it? What movie? Why are we talking about that thing? That's that movie that should not be named. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Yes, unfortunately.
Some of it? I always feel like I should go see it, but then I don't want to, then don't see it. No one's like, don't see it. I can't see it because
You should be able to form your own opinion.
I should be able to form my own opinion.
Some people like one movie, some people like...
Right. I'm sure it's all right.
It's not.
It's not? But this is the thing.
Really
like,
bad.
fans is that fame thing, which is a weird thing, right? Someone wrote back. So I wrote some kind of weird Twitter thing, not when we're like, you know, tweeting. I was like, I'm here, and someone wrote something like, kind of like mean about fame and stuff like that, right? And I was like retorting to it, just explaining what fame is. Like, fame, I was like, in a nutshell, fame is people who know you, who you are that you don't know. Like, that's pretty much it, right? And the thing about fame and meeting fans is, I've been, quote unquote like famous, but really just popular or whatever since I was, before, I started acting when I was 10. I did Hook when I was 15. And that was like a lot, that's when like a lot of fame started happening. But even before then, you have fame, right? I was a breakdancer before like 8, 9, something like that. I think I won like my first big contest. And especially being Filipino, like when I won my first contest when I was like 8, me and my brothers right in our hometown, we've got these trophies that are like bigger than us, right? And next thing you know, like every Filipino you meet is like your cousin, right? And it was like, hey man, you're my little cousin. And then we became these popular breakdancers in the Bay Area. You got that like Bay Area kind of fame and people know who you are. Or like I wrote in the blog, it's like we're walking around Lake Tahoe and someone knows our crew. We were called the Street Freaks. And they're like, oh, you guys are Street Freaks. And then we end up having a big break off, like, right? So even when you're meeting someone that you're battling against, it's like a fan thing because someone knows who you are that you have no idea. I think now that it's been years and years of kind of having that, whatever that is, you get a different grasp of what it is. It's really cool. I mean, fame in and of itself doesn't really do anything, It's I always tell people it's like not, the odd thing is fame used to be like an artist thing, like a movie star thing or singer thing, right? But now with social media, it's like everybody's in the fame game. It's like this thing, everyone with likes and followers and that's cool, it's part of it, but what I like to tell like the younger people that are into the fame game, especially the YouTube kids, right? Like you'll get a negative response from somebody, right? Or like a hateful tweet back, and then people get so depressed about it, right? Which is a natural thing. I mean, actors do. If you get a bad review, you get depressed. And what you tell actors too is like, you got to remember, you're not as bad as anyone says you are. You're not, right? But at the same token, you're really not as good as anyone says you are either. Like if you're the problem is if you get depressed by the hate stuff that comes in, you're kind of putting too much stock on the likes and the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. You got to kind of have a good sense of who you are as an artist. But in meeting fans, I think it's cool because more than anything, it's just flattering and you're just thankful that someone digs the work that you do, Whether it be, from this decade, from last decade, like now I have a kind of a career that spans a long time and people can like anything I do from animation stuff to films to television to my poetry. And as an artist, it always feels good that someone, appreciates the work that you do. So that's kind of where I kind of come from. And I just like hanging out with, sometimes just because we have the same things we like, and I dig that. So there's a lot of people that were fans that become friends. Questions? Yes?
I was going to ask if you could speak a little bit about We On the 8th and also how you came about calling it that.
Yeah, We On the 8th, it just kind of happened. I mean, what happened was this. About a year and a half ago,
Can you hold that?
I called a meeting. I don't even know why I called. I mean, I just called a meeting. Who am I to call a meeting? I did though. I mean, I did, not just by myself. I called a few people up first and be like, I want to call a meeting. And then they were like, yeah, let's call a meeting. So I got some friends involved. I got about a dozen of some of the biggest YouTube celebrities, like I said, like Kev Jumba and JK Films and Wong Fu and Tim DeLaGhetto and AJ Raphael, and collectively these dudes had like 1 billion hits online, which is crazy. And then I also called a lot of my friends that I've worked with and they were friends with